Indeed, they did. And here we go. Angelia Draskovic set to serve it in and get us underway. The Cavaliers and the Seminoles here from Tully Gym. Back set to Lauren Bowie, and Virginia strikes first.
Bowie is a fantastic freshman. Sean, coach is really proud of the progress she's made here at the end of the season.
She has 6 matches with 10 or more kills on the season, the last of which was an 11-kill showing against Wake Forest. Rothman with the shove. Abby Tatter out of the middle.
Tatter is their big success. She's got the best swing, hardest swing on the team, and she's been the heart of this offense all season.
Certainly so. Leads the team in kills with now 220 on the season. Brooklyn Borum back to serve. And there's Corey Lewis. Couple of jousts at the net. Back set to Snyder off the top of the block. A million crashes in for the dig. Free ball opportunity for the Cavaliers. Out of the middle once again, Tatter.
Such a competitor she is. Only the 3rd point so far, but she is loving it. Tatter's fantastic. Watch her get out for this 3-point pass, gets up and swings right between the right and middle back.
What a start for Virginia on the road. They win the first 3 points. Go million with another quality dig.
My goodness, and Virginia sure came to play today. You know, I talked to Coach, well, she mentioned this. She said, you know, we're close in every single game, so we've just got to do a better job of eliminating those errors and scoring when they're on offense. So far, so good.
Every single year, it seems, especially under Coach Wells, the Cavaliers are building more and more momentum. You do well to keep it out of the net and get it back out and across to Florida State. Nice dig once again, and this time the Noles come away with their first point. Sierra Hecht saw a whole lot of nothing out there at the pin.
A lot of experience, though. She's a shorter player, played at Texas A&M, though, Sean, so she's been a great addition to this team.
One of a handful of transfers on this Virginia roster. Of the 16 players they have, 7 are newcomers between several transfers and several more freshmen, and they are gelling well here early on.
Absolutely, but Abby Tatter is a Shannon Wells special. She has really taken to helping her develop as a player, and she's so happy with the progress she made. I mean, now she's swung to the right side, to the left side of the court, so she's got a whole arsenal in her arm swing.
Koenig on serve receive, now transitions out of it. Off speed, Varicia Jan. Koenig, big swing, and even Gomillion, as good as she's been to start, couldn't dig that one up.
Another one with the whole arsenal in their arm swing, Audrey Koenig. First with the roll shot, then getting it done with the deep hard shot.
Second point of this early going for Florida State. Their libero, Kylene Filamawa, back to serve. Jan off the top of the block, played up by Audrey Rothman. And Florida State in transition finds Kiari Roby, who puts it away out of the middle.
And a great dig by Audrey Rothman in the middle back. She was even surprised by that, to be able to pull it from all the way across the court and get your middle involved is special stuff. And of course, Kiari Roby's going to get it done. That's a great up by Gomillion, though.
Nice run here for Florida State. It was all Virginia in the first handful of points. Cavaliers will want a touch call. They won't get it. Point to the Noles. Ashley Lee on the run to Hecht. Here's Koenig. There's her second kill early on.
She puts it right up and into the blocker. It's a great bump set. And the block was just a little early on that, but the hands are there.
And so with that, Florida State is on a 4-0 scoring run. Back set, Jan off the edge of the block and down.
Jan, a 6-year player coming with so much experience. That set was a little bit low, but she was able to do something with it, get it off the tape, and make the kill.
And so the local product, Varicia Jan, gives Virginia the lead right back, 6-5. That'll send Reagan Trueblood back to serve. Audrey Koenig, what a start for the player. Her teammates call AK.
Friday versus Virginia, she was a focal point. Felt like she wasn't happy with her performance, but she was awesome in showing out here early and often this Sunday afternoon.
Alexandra, just like in that pit match, really has been the player who set the tone early for the Noles here today. Kenna Phelan serves it in. Hecht. No touch, point Noles.
She wanted that touch there, thinking the ball landed in. Looks like Coach Shannon Wells is going to challenge that play, Sean.
And so that's the first challenge here of the match, initiated by the University of Virginia. Whether or not a ball is in or out is certainly one of the handful of things that can be challenged in the NCAA challenge system. That includes also a list of things such as whether or not a ball was contacted by an opposing player on its way out, whether or not a player was in the net, whether or not a back row player attacked the ball from essentially a front row position, and whether or not a player committed a service football. And again, as you mentioned, and as Coach Wells said, nice and close, very courteous of her to our microphones. She thought the ball was in. Was she right? Let's see.
Oh my.
I think she's right.
Looks in by a mile to me, but you know, when the refs are standing right there, the line judge is there, it's right in front of you, sometimes it's easy to miss. But Hecht did walk right to the sub line, thinking she was coming out and the team was siding out, so she was pretty confident that that ball was in as well.
And so if this is, as we suspect, an overturned call, which it absolutely appears it should be in favor of Virginia, what you'll see here, folks, is they're not just going to take away a point from Florida State. They're going to award it to the Cavaliers, which means instead of it being 7-6 Seminoles as it stands, I would imagine momentarily it'll be 7-6 Cavaliers. Well, folks, you got our vote. That ball is in. It's point Virginia. We're not the ones who can make the call and put it on the scoreboard, though, so we'll see how this goes.
The Cavaliers seeming confident that this call is going to get overturned.
And Michael Gale, our down referee, has confirmed what we also believe, that this rightfully should be Virginia's point. He is overturning it. Point Virginia. They lead 7-6.
In the back corner, it's a fantastic shot. You'll score almost every time on that. Hecht joining the sideline, a little bit unamused.
Well done by Sierra Hecht. And as she rotates off the floor, Haley Velasquez rotates in to serve. Over the back it goes. We're knotted up at 7. Good start for both of these teams, each hitting above 300 here in this first set. As Audrey Koenig rotates to the back row. She's a 6 rotation pin hitter. And Varicia Yan on the slide. That looked good.
Textbook volleyball from Virginia. That pass coming from Velasquez, you know, she's a player that impresses me with her ball control. And of course, you're going to give it to your veteran, get right through the seam there.
Second kill on 4 swings for Yan, who's going to pick up an ace as well.
Starting to see those first contact errors from Florida State, something that they've struggled with this season.
This time it's Rothman who steps in on serve receive, then transitions out of it and was rejected. Now Conley rolls it over the edge of the block. Yan got to it, but Virginia could not get it across in 3 contacts. Point Noles.
Conley's such a smart player, sees where the defense is not, rolls it right there.
First kill on the first swing of the match for Sydney Conley, number 15 in black. Over on 2 by Trueblood, and that'll work.
A smart move from Trueblood. That's a player that has a lot of experience as well. Transferred from Springfield D2, but she comes ready to play. Shannon Wells loves her.
We'll take another look at the dump by Trueblood.
The blockers are staying with Abby Tatter because why wouldn't you? But there's the dump.
If I was a blocker, I would stay with Abby Tatter too. Can't blame him. And there's Corey Lewis off the edge of the block. What a strong defensive effort by Virginia, just getting it back over. And then Lewis says, thank you very much. I'm going to finish what I started.
Corey Lewis missed the block from Jan, then misses the dump. She said, no, give me the ball. Let's put it away.
And so that brings the Noles back within a point. Lewis, one of 2 Tallahassee natives here on the floor today. More on that later. Droskovic serves it in, and it's a good one. Free ball to Florida State. And it's a free ball kill. Haley Velasquez getting in on the stat sheet.
Miscommunication from Florida State. They have to stay focused every single point if they want this. Angelia Droskovic was not happy with that one.
It's one of those things that you can look to. Playing volleyball in the basketball gym and setting a record attendance, absolute indicators that Coach Wells has the Cavaliers going in the right direction.
Absolutely, and it's something we've seen across the NCAA, right? Nebraska starting the season with it, Louisville starting to play in their basketball arena, and then for Virginia to do it. I just wonder when Florida State's going to get involved.
Hey, could be soon. You never know. They do like to hashtag pack the tuck around here. Might as well do it for volleyball, too. Why not?
Now that you have the TerraFlex core, you're able to do that if they so choose.
Koenig. Hecht. You mentioned she's undersized, but she is willing and ready to swing, and she's looked pretty good.
Yeah, she's been awesome. Very focused here today, and Angelia Droskovic gets out. She's on the line there. Watch her get out for the defense. That ball's going out, and Angelia Droskovic just misses out.
Overpass that Hecht cleans up, and Virginia has withstood Florida State's reverse run after the Cavaliers themselves started strong, and they're stretching the lead out once again. Consecutive points for Sierra Hecht. Now Audrey Koenig, sharp angle off speed, gets it to the floor for the Noles.
Not a perfect set, but Audrey Koenig, so experienced, knows exactly where it needs to go in the court to be able to side out.
Florida State has 8 kills to this point in their first 11 points of the match. Koenig responsible for 4 of those. And that's an ace serve.
Oh. Brooklyn Borum went right in to the bleachers there. You heard my shock with that. She hit it pretty hard.
All-out effort nonetheless, though, for Brooklyn Borum.
She's right back on the court, so she's okay.
Bowie recorded the first point of the match, tried to tip it off speed, but it was out of play.
Set from Lee just a little bit too far off. She kind of started her approach a little bit early there and couldn't find the ball.
Service error by Kylene Filamawa pushes Virginia back out in front by 1.
Florida State just not really able to find their groove yet here in the first set.
So as Trueblood heads back to serve, Chloe Wilson checks in as her opposite. 2 Noles tried to receive the same serve. Koenig was there on the kill attempt off the overpass. There's Wilson off the right pin, checking in and scoring.
Wilson timed that ball really nice, turned her thumb down to kind of get it out of the angle shot. Defense wasn't ready there, right in the seam.
Out to Koenig, off of Jan and down. That is kill number 5 for Koenig, who's hitting close to 600 here to this point in this set.
Jan just a little bit too far off the net there with her block. Pressed and it got caught in the net. That happens sometimes.
I underestimated her, now hitting 625. As Kenna Phelan checks in. Service error once again by the Seminoles.
Kind of feeling one of those players with so much passion, gets frustrated when she makes mistakes. She's going to come out firing with a great set here.
Just a freshman for Florida State. Something the Noles did both of a couple of nights ago. A number of service errors, but they had a boatload of aces as well. So far, a couple of early errors by the Noles in that department, and an ace as well. Brooklyn Borum, after her cameo with the Seminole Sound, heads back to the floor and records the kill.
Borum, one of those players that loves to go for the deep shot. She gets the hands there, falls back.
First kill of the match for Borum, number 2 in gray. Koenig, the roll to the back row, and Velasquez. Borum again off the block. Koenig has been the hot hand for the Noles. This time Borum was there to dig her. And cross court, Wilson.
Wilson does a great job there, getting under the ball, having so much snap on it, turning that thumb.
After Mary Wise, the all-time winningest, at least active head coach in Division I volleyball, has done a tremendous job for decades in Gainesville. And so it'll certainly be exciting to see what Coach Wells continues to build up in Charlottesville alike. Velasquez will serve it in, and it's a service error. So Florida State sides out off the timeout, but they've got a lot of work to do as Audrey Rothman rotates onto the floor. Jan was stopped. An instant impact as Rothman rotates back onto the floor. She tandemed with Kiari Roby and provided an absolute wall.
A statement block for Florida State to pick up some momentum. Audrey Rothman presses up and over the net. No chance that one's getting picked up.
So her Audrey counterpart serves it in once again. Jan this time out of the middle, who leads Virginia in hit efficiency. 330 coming into this match, has yet another kill.
Jan doing a really nice job connecting with both her setters today.
Third kill on 7 swings for Jan. Now Conley swings from the right pin. Speaking of right pins, here's Wilson off speed. Roby tips it back across. Here's Tatter out of the middle, shoving it down the line. Point Cavaliers.
Tatter, not only a player with power, but with volleyball IQ as well, watching her push that ball to the deep corner when she had every ability to swing at it.
Third kill on 4 swings for Abby Tatter, and once again, the Cavaliers have withstood a Florida State run and re-extended their lead. It's up to 4. Wilson rejected by Rothman and Roby once again.
Another one for Rothman. That's an easy one. It's a nice, high, tight set. All you've got to do is get up, time it right, and don't forget to press. I believe Shannon Wells is arguing that that ball landed out. Line judge feels confident.
Which, for those of you who might be new to volleyball, if Florida State blocks the ball out of play, Virginia is credited for tooling the block, and that would be a kill for the Cavaliers as opposed to a block for the Seminoles. She's not going to pull the challenge card, though. That's a misconnection.
That frustration there is actually that the line judge did not call the ball, that the up ref called whether the ball was in or out. Which, to be fair, the up ref is the furthest ref from the ball there in that instance. So now Mary Wise is going to call it, or I'm sorry, Shannon Wells is going to call a timeout, regroup her team, and have another word with the refs.
And so the lead is down to 2 at the moment, with each team heading to their respective huddles.
Statement for Florida State.
And you have to feel, too, that it means a little bit more considering some of the trials they've been through this year. Had their chances on the road at Georgia Tech, that slipped away. Had their chances at home late against Florida, that one slipped away. The opportunities to make a statement were slipping by the wayside, and they grasped that one and made the most of it.
That was the 7th 5-setter Florida State had played this season. The first big win that they've had thus far, really putting them in that tier 1 of ACC teams.
This would be a big win for Virginia if they can hang on in set number 1. They were out of system, but did well to get the ball back to the Noles, and that's a much better pass there. Tatter out of the middle. And Rothman tried to go off speed, and it went into the net. Point Cavaliers.
Cavaliers energy rolling, but it looks like Florida State's starting to pick it up there. They weren't unhappy with losing that point there, so it seems like they're kind of finding their momentum here.
Absolutely. But can Virginia close the door as they close in on set 1? Ashley Lee, their primary setter, goes back to serve. Virginia will want a touch call. I don't think one's coming, though, as Bowie airmails that back left corner.
Bowie just didn't snap her wrist there. Kind of afraid of that big block between Rothman and Lewis.
And we mentioned it earlier, too. This is a Florida State team that statistically hasn't blown teams away with their blocking, but they certainly did a couple of nights ago against Pittsburgh. 19 total blocks against the Panthers, who lead the ACC in that department. Great job siding out, though, by the Cavaliers. That settles things in a bit. Their lead is back to 3. Out of the middle, Corey Lewis. That looked good. Good tempo.
It's a quick set, and Lauren Bowie just wasn't there soon enough to close the block. You know, that's something that comes along with experience, you know, next season, season after. You see that with freshmen, but she'll really get her footwork going in the coming years.
That sends Audrey Rothman back to serve. She goes deep down the line and jams up Brooklyn Borum. Hecht has to send a free ball over. Koenig tried to terminate it off the pass, and there you go. Florida State, as you mentioned, is really starting to feel it, and that block that was so prolific a couple of nights ago especially has really shown some positive early signs today.
Watch Corey Lewis read this ball. That is a solo block by her.
Tatter off the block. Koenig dug up by Gamillion. Hecht!
That's a hard set to hit. Lee fires from across the court, and Hecht with a lot of power gets it right through that seam.
So once again, the Noles get within 1. They've tied it a couple of times. But Virginia has withstood every FSU assault. Here's Koenig, rejected. She gets it back on first contact and will now transition off the edge of Jan's block, and that'll work. Out of system nonetheless, the Noles get back within 1.
That Virginia block is there. They're just a little bit early on it.
And worth mentioning, while Pitt leads the ACC in blocks per set, Virginia a very respectable number 2. Hecht right through the seam, dug up by Filamau. A nice pass by the freshman. To the middle it goes. Jan dug up by Droskovic. Florida State's now out of system, and it won't matter. Audrey Koenig, instant offense, just mix in water, I assume. That's kill number 7 here of the set.
That ball looks like it's set far off behind the antenna. Doesn't seem like she's going to be able to turn it line, but she hasn't faced Audrey Koenig before.
7 kills in 1 set of work. Wow. Hecht dug up by Gaona. Back bump Droskovic. Koenig lets it fly. Overpass rejected by Roby, and then rejected back by Jan for set point.
That was a one-on-one battle of veterans in the middle there, and Varicia Jan came away with the win there.
What this would mean for Virginia to come on the road and win set 1 over the Seminoles. True blood to serve it in. It's long.
But you know, Sean, this is why they say that the ACC is developing into one of the most competitive conferences in college volleyball, because Virginia's record does not measure what they're playing right now. They go into these matches, play extremely hard, and don't have the record to show for it.
played extremely hard, and they played extremely well, asserted themselves well against the Noles here in set one. Shannon Wells wants to talk about things and calls timeout at a very important moment, especially if you're Virginia on the road. FSU taking them both on this weekend, and this set has largely been dominated by the Cavaliers, who have asserted themselves early and often, and FSU has reeled them in multiple points, including here, and we'll see if the timeout in any way ices Kenneth Phelan. Wilson from the right side, dug up by Phelan.
It's a good job by Wilson to get up and over the block there.
Off speed. Once again, Florida State's out of system. Everybody's crashing the floor.
All out effort by Jan.
And Virginia was in the net. I think they called Hecht for it.
Foley Gymnasium not full today, but the fans are loud and proud as always.
And for the first time here in the first set, Florida State finds themselves with set point. Hecht off speed over the block. Koenig had it rejected. That's block number 2, and the biggest of both for Virginia early on.
This Virginia block is maybe their most redeeming quality as a team. They're a really efficient blocking team, especially with Varicia Jan in the middle there.
And so we continue to play on beyond the 25 mark in set number 1. Haley Velasquez will serve it in. It's a service error. It'll be set point number 2 for the Noles. Neither team has a timeout left.
Nothing hurts more than a missed serve on game point, especially one that's in the tape.
Audrey Koenig will serve it in and over. And sometimes those service errors, they can be contagious, can't they, Alexandra?
Absolutely. And Koenig, you know, she missed serve on game point versus Pitt, so I think she's just a little bit in her head with her serve right now.
So it rotates now over on the Virginia side to Varicia Jan, who had an ace earlier. That's 3 consecutive service errors between the Cavaliers and the Seminoles. The Noles will rotate their own middle, Chiari Roby, back to do the honors. That one floats in. Tatter off speed, that hit the antenna. Point and set to the Seminoles, who win it 28-26.
That was a phenomenal set from True Blood, though, right after.
26 affair that Virginia largely controlled until the Noles found a way late. And there's an ace serve to start. Never say die. Cavs strike first once again. Ashley Lee will do the honors again, this time trying to float it in tight. And it nearly got across the tape, but didn't quite.
It's the right idea from Lee there, though. That's one of those that you see she's intentionally trying to go short. It's not the one that hits the tape.
So 1-all early on. Kylene Filamawa serves it in. And that's a huge stuff block, but it's out of play. Credit Virginia for tooling the FSU block. Abby Tatter back in the scorer's column.
That was a low set. Tatter had to be very quick at the arm swing there, and she was able to. Chiari Roby just didn't have enough time to press.
Brooklyn Borum back to serve. Koenig, what a set she had in set 1. 7 kills for Koenig.
Koenig's such a competitor that she was even frustrated with that performance there, so this set she's probably going to come off firing as she is already.
Free ball to the Seminoles, and they'll send one right back. Misconnection by FSU, and there's Sierra Hecht.
Hecht making waves all around this court for the Cavaliers. She's got the cross shot, she's got the line shot, she tips when she needs to. She is a really smart and efficient player.
Powered that one down the line, then the float serve just cleared the tape. And speaking of power, Audrey Koenig says, I have plenty.
That's the swing that Koenig's been looking for thus far in this match. She loves that hard cross. You can tell when it's hit pure, and that's the one.
3-2 Virginia early on, with Koenig sprinkling in her 8th kill, hitting .333 to this point in the match. Kenna Phelan heading back to serve. Florida State and Virginia each running 6-2 offenses. Setter always in the back row. And there's another block by the Noles. That one finds the confines of the court, and that is their 4th of the match.
Now that's where Hecht's height comes into play, right? When the set is extremely tight like that and you're up against a big block, there's just not really a way to go around it unless you push it to a deep corner.
Going back a couple of days ago, those two, Roby and Conley, were particularly dynamic on the block for the Noles. Speaking of dynamic, that's a nice block. Florida State does maintain possession, though, and Phelan tried to take it over on 2.
Fantastic diving dig by Gamillion. Great reflexes, and the Cavaliers are excited to walk away with that one.
Abby Tatter hammered that one down after it was passed over by the Noles. Should be kill number 7 for Tatter. Roby off the block. Rothman plays it up, this time off speed, Roby.
Lee was there on that diving dig just a little bit early on. I couldn't get that ball up. You see her laughing.
So just like set 1, tight
Watch
here
that
early.
miss set there. Lee is right there for it.
Jan. Gamillion with the out-of-system set, and Florida State's block was ready again.
Yari Roby, such an effective blocker now. After seeing Hecht in the first set, probably figured out the way to shut her down.
First lead of the set for the Noles. Rothman off speed over the block. Back row, Borum. Conley. Smart swing, tooling the Virginia block for a kill.
Smart set and swing. A great idea from Conley. Only a short approach, but turn it right down the line, tool it off the block.
3 kills on 5 swings to this point for Sydney Conley. Borum, another back row attack. This time it's in for the kill. It's off the touch. There you go.
And I mentioned it earlier, Borum, a player with a lot of power, loves to go to those deep corners, so she really capitalized on that with a big approach from the middle back there.
So off the Borum kill, Reagan Trueblood checks in for Virginia. Oh, flat serve there, just clearing the tape. Hecht was ready for Conley. Here's Rothman tooling the edge of Wilson's block, and out of play it goes.
That's a dream set for Audrey Rothman. She loves those high rainbow sets. She's able to time them perfectly, get right up into that tool.
Back set Wilson. This time she says, I'll tool the block. Anything you can do, I can do too.
That block is there, just didn't turn their hands in towards the court. It's such an essential part of being a successful blocker, is making sure you have those angles.
Back row Koenig. Dug up by Gamillion. Off speed Jan. And now Lewis records the kill just inside the reach of her fellow Tallahassee native. Threaded the needle quite nicely.
Lewis, such an athlete, not even able to make an approach there. Look at the mess at the net, and she's just able to get up and put it right where the defense isn't.
Really strong run across the back row for Kenna Phelan. Some really high quality sets for number 7 in black. Now her counterpart, the proven veteran Angelia Draskovic, checks in. Borum had it rejected. Second effort again, Snyder got a piece of it. Look at Draskovic setting the back row and Koenig. Quality dig by Virginia. They'll send a free ball over. Lewis dug up. off the lights, still in play. Lewis tried to snap the wrist and still up. Rothman off the block. Jan out of the middle. Whoa, what a play by Koenig. Jan again, and that time it finds the floor. What a rally, and what a point for Virginia.
Both teams showing their scrappiness and their fight. Brooklyn Borum being fantastic. Now Chris Poole questioning here if they're able to cross the bench here to continue that play, and Jan finishing it off, the oldest and most experienced player on this court.
Second time Michael Gale has been called in for an explanation. He's the down referee. Mark Prater, who was the down referee for the Friday match against Pitt, is now the up, and it looks like the two are going to confer about that exact question here.
These two refs have surely had themselves a weekend. We had a number of challenges, players and coaches upset on Friday, and now here only in the beginning of the second set.
We've already seen a couple of conversations and one official challenge by the Cavaliers. They were successful, so Shannon Wells and company still have two. Chris Poole has not used one yet, so the Noles have two as well. I'm not sure that that is something that could be looked at or challenged. It's more of like a home court rule type thing.
Well, I think here he's just asking him, you know, what are the rules there? Are my players able to go over here, this stats area, and pass the ball and get it up and over? It's not that it's necessarily challengeable. I think he's just checking with the rules, unless, of course, we do see a challenge card.
And so we'll play on.
Surefire way to kill some momentum. Faricia Jan really happy with that last point. Now she's had to stand back there behind the service line quite a while.
Cross-court serve that Koenig passes well, and Snyder is the beneficiary over on the right pin, number 10 in black.
Jan probably thought, let me just get this up and over, but if you give Florida State an easy one and get a 3-option pass, they're going to put it away almost every time.
In fact, to your point, Dan Fisher told us one of his objectives for Pitt a couple of days ago was to make sure that Florida State didn't get too many of those looks. They had to apply enough service pressure that they got the Noles deeper into rallies. And so by nature of that, on the contrast, you're seeing what Florida State can do quickly.
A phenomenal block by Florida State. All three of the blockers get in there for that, but Corey Lewis read it perfectly. Didn't even need him.
Just like that, the Noles have opened up a 3-point lead, make it 2 off the service error.
10 combined service errors in 1.5 sets. Definitely not what you want to see.
So it'll be Ashley Lee, who got this set started with an ace serve, serving it deep this time to Audrey Koenig. Snyder was hunting the line, but missed it. Point Virginia, they're back within 1.
Snyder swinging with a lot of confidence there. Wanted that deep line shot, but just overcompensated a bit.
Tight pass. Koenig, my goodness.
Koenig finding her power here, getting able to better time the sets, get her true swing on it. These last couple balls really showing that.
So Kylene Filamawa steps back to serve. Borum stuffed.
Nothing better than missing a swing, but rebounding, coming back with a big block. Maddie Snyder's happy with that one.
That brings Florida State now to 7.5 team blocks in the first set and a half of action. Block got in on it that time, but it was tooled for a kill. Brooklyn Borum. toward double digits once again this season. It's been a career year for Audrey already.
Once you get started, she really cannot be stopped. Koenig is such an athlete, and I talked to her earlier this week, you know, what has been the key in you developing your consistency and consistently improving at that? She said, to be honest with you, I just stopped looking at the stats and just started focusing on, did I have fun? Did I go out there? How did I feel about that match? So I think just not looking at the numbers, not having the ability to psych yourself out has really been the key for her.
And to that point, Lindsay Allman mentioned to us earlier in the season that one of the things she noticed that's different about her is how much confidence and personality she brings to the floor.
And it's so easy to do, right? When you're not thinking about numbers, just think about, let's just think about this volleyball match right here. Let's think about this play. You're able to just have so much more personality, effort, leadership on the court.
The good news for Audrey Koenig, even though she doesn't like to look at the stats, they're pretty good. They're pretty darn good. And things are going pretty well for Florida State to this point here in set 2. Here she goes again, this time off speed, dug up by Hecht. Back row, Borum!
Borum with that big kill to the back line, and Kylie Filamau just read it the other way, had to switch her momentum to try to dig that up, just missed it. Watch her get out the big set, and Kylie's just momentum went the other way.
Overpass off the short serve. Virginia trying to continue this run. Florida State led by about 4. That one dug over and out. Point Seminoles, and that'll lead us to our midway media timeout. The Noles won set 1, 28-26. They lead midway through Satstick today.
Doing what she does best, capitalizing on that outside, being the key focal point for Florida State. She swings cross, she swings line, she reads the defense, she tips, she does it all. 8 kills already here in the first set and a half.
And you know what she also does? She also serves. And she'll get us back underway here in set 2. 8 double-doubles in the last 11 matches for Audrey Koenig.
Possibly on her way to a 9th today. She's got 9 kills, 5 digs already.
She's been sprinkling in some more aces here over the last couple of matches. And she'll get another chance to go back and serve here.
Yari Roby just so dominant on the block, such a smart blocker, follows the ball so well.
That one down the line. And Hecht in transition, picked up and put down.
Kenna Phelan does a really good job of staying out of the net there, but that pass set just goes too high up and over, and Hecht doing a really good job of putting it down.
Roby out of the middle.
Just everyday work for Kiari Roby. Just gets up, puts a nice swing on it, tool right off the block. Doesn't need to be a big kill, but it's always going to be solid contact.
Roby, a player who's really come into her own, especially on defense here in ACC play, where she ranks in the top 5 in the conference in blocks.
Looked like there were 4 contacts there. I think it's because Corey Lewis kind of pulled back to touch that first one. I was surprised when that 4th pass went up there too.
So after that point to Virginia, the lead is down to 3 for the Noles. Rothman from the left pin. Now Borum as well. Virginia thinks Florida State touched it. It goes point Florida State. Coach Wells not making a move for the challenge card, even though her players initially lobbied for the touch call.
That was a set really far off the net for Borum. That's something you really want to see more for a player like Hecht. She's had a lot of really tight sets, not a lot of choices that she can do with them, but when you have Hecht, a shorter player, it's better to set her off the net and set Borum a little bit tighter. She likes that hard, powerful swing.
And then on the other side of things, Florida State goes to their proven veteran, Angelia Draskovic, who has been tremendous in many ways, including as a server, and she drops in the ace. Timeout, Virginia.
She loves her serve there. She's so good. She gets up under it. It's such a hard float to try to read. She's got a ton of aces on the season. I believe she might be leading the team.
I believe you're right on that. And today's a special day for Jelly and for Florida State as well. It's senior day here in Tully Gym, and so Jelly as well as a couple of other Seminoles were honored. There's Emily Ryan and Alejandra Perez, who had their own senior day last year. Sydney Conley, the only 4-year senior here at Florida State as well. They're the two honorees for the garnet and the gold.
Just to talk about Angelia Draskovic, you know, she's had such a journey of volleyball. She left her home at 11 years old to go to the capital of Serbia and basically attend volleyball boot camp, and then came over to America for college, and she's been here alone the whole time. Her parents couldn't make her trip over for her senior day, but I know that they are watching. They watch every single game. They are her biggest fans. Congratulations to Jelly for an incredible career. It's been an honor to watch her play here in the last 2 years.
She's made a ton of fans here as well. With more on her and Sydney Conley alike, here's Kylie Brenneman.
And just touching more on that special day in Tallahassee, I talked to Kenneth Phelan before the match, who said Jelly has always been inspiring to her. She wears her passion on her sleeve and has taken her in since day one. Also talked to Coach Allman, who said Sydney Conley is a player that is a joy to watch because she always finds a way to make something out of nothing, and they're really going to miss her humor around there. They're going to miss them both a lot. Back to you guys.
There's a lot of people, Kylie, who are going to miss those two players a lot. They've done a tremendous job for the Noles. So too has Corey Lewis, and FSU is speeding towards set 2. This is really their largest lead at any point to this point in the match.
Jelly and Corey have such a strong connection. They read each other so well. Corey's right there. Jelly puts it right into her hand.
Tough serve. And Virginia sends the out-of-system free ball over to the Noles. Back set Snyder, rejected initially. And Borum was in the net.
Borum does not like that call, gave the ref quite a look there.
Timeout, Virginia. Florida State's lead up to 7 here in set 2. You mentioned Borum was upset about the net call. Let's take a look at it.
The net definitely moves, but it's not necessarily moving when Brooklyn's up there.
Back fashion 28-26. They lead set 2 21-24. As we take a look at what's at stake, Virginia's looking for their first road win, as I mentioned, against the Noles in program history, and the Florida State program 8th straight home win this season is what's on the line for them as they continue now to pursue, realistically so, an ACC title. I know they're taking it one match at a time, but this will be another big step toward that end here today.
One win at a time. Florida State just has to stay focused, stay present, right? Can't overthink it. And another ace for Angelia Draskovic. She's not overthinking anything.
One of the best servers, not just at Florida State, but really in the entire ACC. Continuing an already strong service run once again. Virginia was out of system there, and that continues an extended run for the Noles here.
Draskovic, such a wise player, right? She knows exactly where she's got to put that ball to continue to keep those passers out of system.
Lead up to 9. Wilson off speed, had it rejected by Rothman. It finds the floor, and the Noles have a couple of handfuls, really, of set points. Wilson dug up by Koenig. Rothman tips it to the floor, off speed shove by Audrey. for the Cavaliers. Set 3 is going to start the way it ended in set 2. Angelia Draskovic back to serve once again. Out on the right pin, that's number 33 in gray, Lauren Bowie, who recorded the first kill of the match, now recording the first kill of set number 3.
Hopefully finding her groove a little bit, minimizing those errors, gets that tool off the block.
Brooklyn Borum will serve it in. Lewis out of the middle. Abby Tatter out of the middle as well.
Emily, you're a middle. Yeah, what are you seeing on those plays? I can try to break it down, but I only play defense.
I would definitely say that these girls are really pushing over their blocks on both ends. Just seeing them on these low balls coming up, especially getting their hands around that ball, but solid blocking Virginia.
I've noticed that the sets could be low for Tatter, and she's still able to do something with it. Then Florida State's block meets her right there.
Totally.
So Virginia starts off set 3 on a 3-0 run. Very similar to how they started the match. There's another block by the Cavaliers.
Cavaliers doing a really good job of closing their block. What are you seeing there?
Definitely, they're definitely getting on their seams, making sure they're to the antenna, blocking our line shots. So they're doing exactly what their scouting report said.
Sky Eeks into the match. That's one of your teammates as well. She's got a lot of power.
A lot of power, a lot of range. This girl's really good. She's good when she's hot. She's good when she's going all out. And right now, let's see how she goes.
It'll be Borum to serve it in once again. 4-0 to start here for the Cavaliers. Rothman from the right pin missed the touch, and another point to Virginia. Emily, when you have a team that's gone on a run like this, what are you trying to do? How do you hit that reset button?
Totally. Definitely look to your teammates. Make sure it's eye contact, all about that. And making sure your communication is very high. Always positive reinforcements and positive feedback, no matter the error. Just making sure that you guys come together as a team like what they're doing right now.
And if you're a team like Virginia, who lost the first 2 sets, I have to imagine this is perfect case scenario in set 3.
It definitely is for them right now.
Rothman off speed. Nearly a misconnection, and there's Corey Lewis taking care of business out of the middle. You got to work with her for a year. How do you like what you've seen out of her, especially as she's grown into this role this year?
Totally. This girl has improved so much. I'm so proud of her. She's so much bigger at the net, so much more energy, loves cheer now. I've never been more proud of her. But those overpasses, she's killing it, and I'm really proud of her.
So she terminates the overpass for Florida State's first side out.
It looks like she has a little bit of an arm injury here. I talked to Shannon Wells earlier in this match. She told me, I have not had one match all season where my full roster has been healthy. Hecht has been a key for them today, so I can't imagine that being good if she goes down here.
Hecht has 6 kills to this point in the match, the second leading scorer for the Cavaliers. And deep sigh, deep breath moment for all the Virginia faithful tuning in. She's good to go. She's back in to play. Rothman serves it in and targets Hecht straight away. Back set Tatter. Caught the line, point Cavs.
It was a perfect pass and a great set for Tatter. Block just missed it a little bit. Emily, this is a player, Gamillion, that you mentioned you played with. You know, what have you seen from her on the other side of the net and how she's developed?
She is an incredible passer. She came from Metro Volleyball Club out of DC, where we all kind of grew up, and watching her play her heart out, get all these digs, making insane plays, making sure no ball hits the floor. I'm really proud of her, and I'm very impressed with this game.
She's heading back to serve once again. That's the libero for Virginia, number 6 in blue. One-handed dig off the scaffolding, and Ashley Lee sends the free ball over. Koenig dug up by Borum. Out of the middle, there's Jan.
A hard fight from Virginia there. A perfect dig by Borum, and of course, give it to your veteran, right?
I would certainly say so. And Shannon Wells, welcome back to Tallahassee. Play once again underway here in set 3. Sky Eeks swinging away from the right pin and terminating for the Noles. Well, Virginia now leading at 9-2. Still a hot start to set 3 for the Cavaliers. Sean Davison, Emily Ryan, Alexandra DiCaprio, and Kylie Brennan on hand. Emily, Alexandra, I'll start with you. What have you seen out of Virginia? How do you like what you've seen out of the Cavaliers here, hitting the reset button early on in set 3?
Totally. I love how they're coming in hot. They're all up on their toes. They're not letting anything come down. All their hitters are hitting really smart plays, hitting off the block, and finding their open spaces.
There's another one in Jan, recording a kill out of the middle to make it 10-3 Cavaliers. Alexandra, I'll tee you up on this. What do you need to see Florida State do here to really respond to these body blows that they're taking from the Cavaliers early in set 3?
Yeah, well, it's hard because they're not really making errors, right? They're kind of just getting beat there, so they've really got to start reading on the block a little bit better. And better first touch contacts are always a thing for Florida State. Get a perfect pass, get them in system, give it to Kiari Roby with Chameleon with a great dig, though.
Wilson on the right pin, misfires. That's the 4th point of the set for the Seminoles. This is a must-win set for Virginia to extend the match. And very much like set 1, the Cavaliers led most of that one. Florida State found a way late, earned a couple of set points of their own, and capitalized on the second one. Here's Kenna Phelan. Virginia was in trouble from serve, receive, on, and Florida State's block was ready. I don't even think they needed it, just at the top of the tape.
Emily, how about a freshman setter wearing your number this year?
I'm very proud for her wearing that number. She's wearing it great, has been this whole season, and watching her serve, her sets are so consistent. She knows where these girls are. She knows how to see the block, process it, and still play. Every single time she dives, it's like she's being a little dolphin out there, unlike myself.
She is like that. Every time she dives, she's catching air. Her body's moving so beautifully. Impressive player she is.
All right, well, this is the color debut of Emily Ryan. We're going to give you a challenge to break down. Coach Wells thinks Florida State touched that ball on its way out. It was ruled ball out, point Florida State. And as it stands, the Noles are on a 3-0 run to trim the lead down to 4. We'll take a look at the challenge rules before we take a look at some of the replay angles, and they include these. Each team begins the match with 2 total if a call that was on the floor initially is reversed, which means the team that's challenging wins the challenge. They get that challenge right back. If the original call is upheld, which means the challenging team loses it, then they are down that challenge for the balance of the match until they get to the 5th set, at which point they would get it back. It appears it's the right hand of Kiari Roby that's going to be the question here.
A big touch off of those hands, I'll say.
There you go.
I mean, Kiari Roby's a fantastic blocker. She reads so well. Couldn't get her body there, but she presses with her arms. Doesn't want the touch on that one, but looks like that's the case.
And Michael Gale has made his way over here and said, yeah, we're going to reverse the call. That means Shannon Wells is 2 for 2 and Emily Ryan is 1 for 1. And just like that, the 4-point lead for Virginia becomes a 6-point lead as we approach the midway point here in set number 3. We'll take one last look.
She won't let that happen again, I'm sure.
Definitely not.
Back underway, a tough serve and an ace for Virginia. Kate Johnson.
Kate Johnson, welcome to the game. No better way to introduce yourself than with an ace.
You have to imagine for a Gainesville native, it feels real good to come into Tallahassee and drop in an ace.
It's almost even better than a homecoming. It's like you come to your enemy's house and get an ace.
No arguments here. Brooklyn Borum got a touch and a kill, and it has been all Virginia for the most part here in set number 3. I think we got a challenge by Chris Poole saying that FSU most certainly did not touch it. And so once again, we're looking for a touch, no touch at the net. Well, now that we got you comfortable, Emily, about reviewing challenges and whatnot, we're going to throw you right back into the fire and take a look at it one more time.
Brooklyn Borum, just been so much power today. She loves that deep shot. She wants the high hands, doesn't really have the snap on the wrist that you need to have big kills in this conference, but she gets a lot of touches. She's got a lot of points for her team thus far today. Now it's just a matter of if there was or was not a touch. And to me, I don't see the hands moving, but Emily, what do you see?
I think it's a really hard ball to see because her hands are still going over as the ball is crossing the net. So it really could go both ways.
The call stands that it was a touch by Florida State's Sydney Conley. Chris Poole's a little bewildered.
Shannon Wells feeling good about the fact that she's winning these challenges. She's confident that these calls are not correct, and it's got to feel good to gain that momentum.
It remains an 8-point lead for Virginia. Florida State is down to one challenge unless they go to a fifth set, at which point they'd get it back. Wilson hunting the line, missed it.
Audrey Koenig does such a nice job of taking the line away that when Wilson tried to turn for the line, Audrey had all of it. So she really had nowhere else to go but out, and she was too late on the decision to change for the angle.
Koenig now rotates to the back row. Florida State has an opportunity here. Back set Conley. Cross court dug up by Johnson. Borum with the deep roll to Koenig. Rothman once again dug up by Johnson. Welcome to the match. Rothman now dug up by Gamillion. Yon out of the middle. What a rally. Opportunity for Borum, and she will cash it in.
There's that snap of the wrist we've been looking for all game, Sean. She finally does that. And how about Kate Johnson? Watch her get this ball up. What a quick reaction. And then another one right back to it, crossing her libero. That is fantastic defense from her.
Tight pass. And Roby makes the most of a quick set by Kenna Phelan. 14-7 as it stands. And Emily, I want to come back to you here for a second. You got a taste of conference play last year. This is a Virginia team that comes into this particular match with 2 conference wins, and you see what they're doing here, battling tight with the Noles, recording their fair share of kills. What have been your impressions, whether it's been matches you've tuned into this year or the ones you played last year, about where the ACC is heading overall?
Definitely. It seems like the ACC from last season to this season is definitely a fight for the finish, honestly. I believe last time I checked, it was a 3-way tie for the first place position. I think these girls are on both teams have what it takes, and I think they just keep pushing. It's definitely a really tough ACC this year.
Last season, you guys went up there, lost in 5 sets. What was that match like for you guys?
It definitely, I would say, puts you in a different perspective. Sometimes on the road, it's a lot harder to play. You just kind of have to get used to the new facilities and the lightings and just like the rowdy fans and just figuring out how to like play as a team and making sure you don't get distracted. I think that game was just a lot of miscommunications, but knowing that we came back the following weekend and pushed our hearts out in practice and making sure that those little errors that happen don't happen again.
So Virginia feeling very much the same thing on the road in Tallahassee this year. Has hit the reset button very nicely in set 3. They're speeding toward what could be a set 3 win here, leading Florida State 17-8.
Virginia's played really hard here, and I think avoiding a sweep is a huge accomplishment in itself, right, Emily?
Totally. Definitely stopping a team from a hot run, especially what they're doing right now with a lead of 17-8.
You were middle. How many times with Jelly did you think you were going to get set and she hit it with the dump and scored the point?
I would say a little too many to count on one hand, but it's definitely a great skill to have to fake out those opposing blockers.
And you were here to support her on senior day. Can you talk about the kind of teammate and player that Jelly is and what she meant to last year's team and undoubtedly this year's team as well?
Totally. She is the great leader that every team needs. She's very vocal. She makes sure that everyone's in the right mindset on the court, off the court. She is so including. She loves running a spread offense to run anything to mess up the blockers on their opposing teams. She's very vocal on making sure that she can train these girls to run different routes and make sure that they're confident with her sets. And as long as you're confident in her, she'll make sure it gets to you.
And I'm curious, what is it like playing with her from a volleyball IQ standpoint? Moving away from her family so young and starting to play competitively so early. I have to imagine she is such a wise player to grow and learn with.
Totally. From someone that left her home around 11 years old and being able to play this sport for as long as she has is insane. Being a European athlete, they train you at such a young age to play every position. So she is well-spoken, well-spread. Like, she can do it all. If she wanted to be a middle hitter, I don't think she would stop herself. So
she's definitely a fierce competitor, and I do think if she was thrown in the middle, she'd get it done if she had to.
She definitely would.
No arguments here. She now sends the back set to Corey Lewis. That looked good.
Corey Lewis missed wide on that last play as we were talking about Jelly, but Jelly gives it right back to her on the right side. Of course, Corey's going to put that one away.
She definitely did.
Kylene Filamawa heads back to serve. And it's a good one, and it's cleaned up by Audrey Koenig. I'll say this, I have been really impressed. A lot of things about Kylene Filamawa, but she's been so solid serving all season. Looks like they reversed the call, and it became point Virginia.
Shannon Wells has been lobbying for that over-the-plane call about 3 plays in a row now. Finally got it, went her way. They're going to ride with this momentum here in the last 4 points.
A serve by the Cavaliers, and Florida State will call timeout. They are looking to at least force a 4th set here this afternoon. Sky Eeks will want a touch call. It's not going to come. Virginia pours on another.
Sky Eeks hasn't really found her groove yet today, but she was very impressive versus Pitt. I think when that competition really clicks for her, she's able to get it going.
On the other side, this has been a strong service rotation for True Blood. Out of the middle, yawn. Nothing to yawn about there for Varicia. She has been fantastic today.
That was an off-speed swing from Audrey Koenig, and Gamillion's able to put a perfect pass on it, give it to Varicia Ron. She's going to put it right in the seam.
4-0 run. What a spirited fight by the Cavaliers. They now stand at set points, and a whole bunch of them. All right, one last question, Emily. How are you enjoying TV?
I'm loving every second of this right now.
So too is Virginia as they look to steal set 3. That's a side out for the Noles, who tool the block for the kill.
It was a pleasure having you join us here in this 3rd set. Great to see you. Great to have you here back in Tully Gymnasium watching this team, supporting Angelia Droskovic on senior day.
Yawn trying to put an end to the set. Conley trying to keep it going. Wilson off the left hand of Audrey Koenig. And Sydney Conley looking to extend the proceedings. Florida State strung together a couple of points.
Conley seems to be so good in the clutch because she's able to stay so calm. What did you notice from her as a teammate?
I think it's just really good to have. She definitely has the energy, but she is so calm in the game, and it's so nice to have that person to just bring you down, to make you realize, like, hey, like, it could be so chaotic, but like we're here on this court together. Let's play together and like take a deep breath. And she is that person that.
Still a must-win set for the Cavaliers. Corey Lewis out of the middle, and Florida State is firing away early.
Perfectly in seam to start this fourth set. They come out and they're like a completely different team, Sean.
Always important to hit that reset button even after a set gets lopsided. Nice serve by Kylene Filamawa, and Borum makes the most of that pass and hammers it cross court.
The end of that third set, she really found the snap in her wrist that she needed to be able to make it happen. That one fell right in the middle of the court there.
7th kill for Borum. She heads back to serve. And a back bump now to Hecht, dug up by Koenig. This will be third contact. Snyder sends it over. Hecht again, nice pass by Filamawa. And there's Koenig off the top of the block, dug up by Borum. FSU's block was up, and I believe that ball got inside of it.
Koenig was just a little bit too far off the net there. It came right off her block and fell in. That's why they say the importance of pressing.
It's a combination of things too, right, Alexandra? Timing, vision of the court, and then how well you seal that block too.
Arguably the hardest part of the game, because you have to meet the hitters where they are, follow the ball, decide if you're going to take away the line or the angle, and then you have to remember to press at the end.
So we're seeing the block work its way into the equation on both sides. FSU tooling Virginia's there to knot this up at 2. As it stands in the match, FSU with the edge 9.5 to 6. But again, if we're talking about trends, Virginia with 4 of their 6 in the last set alone. Back to work, Koenig. What a set and what a swing.
Koenig just showing how she's the integral part of this offense, Sean. She's able to take that ball from across the back of the court and put a swing on it.
And so FSU has the early lead, 3-2 here in set 4. Phelan back to serve. And there's FSU's block. That's been the dynamic duo really working well together, especially over the last 2 matches. Kiari Roby and Sydney Conley have, for the lack of better terms, been practically a wall.
Sometimes 2 players just have such a great connection on the block. They can literally feel each other. Are we closed? Are we not? They definitely have that connection.
And how about Roby herself? 10 blocks against Pitt, 7 already against Virginia. Outside Hecht. Virginia wants a touch call. They won't get it.
It's a smart swing by Hecht. Gets it right down the line, but even smarter by Kenna Phelan. She is right on the line. She's able to see even if it's inches out because she's parked right on it.
And so Coach Wells pulled the challenge card. Everybody in gray was lobbying for a touch call.
I really like how aggressive Shannon Wells has been with her challenges today. She's been confident. She's been right a number of times. And now at this one, you're not so sure whether you will or you won't be, but it doesn't really matter because right now she still has 2 challenges remaining, only a 4th set. If you go to a 5th set, you retain challenges. So she's going to be an all-out effort on these challenges if she so needs to here in this 4th set.
And coming back to that, the decisiveness, the aggressiveness of Coach Wells when it comes to pulling the challenge card and how she coaches her team. A couple of years ago, we had Keeler Chan, the head coach at Samford, who came in, and he worked under Mary Wise as well. And he said one of the biggest things he learned was how to be the CEO of your franchise, and that's what she did well. You can see the ripple effect of that in Coach Wells. She is, I mean, completely in control of everything, and even though that call doesn't go her way, she is very demonstrative about everything she does.
When you're trained by the best, you kind of turn out to be a product of that coach, and Mary Wise is just that. So it's great to see Shannon Wells really following in her footsteps. And
so with that point being upheld for Florida State, they're on a 4-0 run, and Phelan will serve it in once more. Tatter off Florida State's block, played up. And off-speed Kiari Roby says thank you very much.
Defense turning into offense. Audrey Rothman ran down that pass. Look at her get back there. For you to be able to set the middle off a pass like that, fantastic work. Rothman deserves the kudos for that one.
And as fast as Virginia's start was in set 3, Florida State looking to fashion something similar. That's a strong serve by Phelan and a free ball coming to Florida State.
Can't give them one of those.
Conley, right pin, dug up by Borum. Virginia will tool the block. Smart swing by Hecht.
You know what they forgot, Sean? The press inside. Sydney Conley just turned her hands a little bit too far outside, missed that turn in towards the court. If so, that is a statement block.
That puts an end to a 5-0 Florida State run, and then the Noles side out immediately off the service error.
Service errors have been cleaned up a lot here these last 2 sets, Sean. Both teams serving very strong.
Hecht off Florida State's block, now trying to clean up the overpass, and will.
Hecht plays with so much confidence, being only 5'9" out there. She's up at the net for her to make that swing on that ball with a blocker with her. Risky decision, but it paid off there.
To your point about the service errors for Virginia in particular, they had 5 in set 1. They've had 2 since. Off speed, smart shot by Sydney Conley. It finds the middle of the UVA defense.
There's that calm confidence that Emily Ryan was telling us about. You can see it. It's great to hear that what we see is the reality for Sydney Conley. She's such a smart player.
She really has been, and what an addition Kiari Roby has been. That's a smart shot as well. Varicia Jan going off speed to the floor.
Jan has been nothing short of impressive this whole day. She's got the skills to put hard swings on the ball and the IQ to tip when she needs to.
Johnson back to serve. And Lewis serving up a kill.
Lewis reaches so high that sometimes sets are a little too low for her, and she's able to put a swing on those. That set, she was reaching extremely high. It was a little bit too high, and look at her get up and put a swing on that ball as it's sitting so high up there.
That's been one of the most fun things I would even say to see this year for Florida State. Corey Lewis has always been really good, but this year she is higher and she is faster. That one wildly out of play. Point Florida State.
I think she makes as impressive improvement year after year that you can hope for from any player. From her freshman year coming in already extremely impressive, highly touted, and to now be so dominant in the middle.
Already 9 kills for Corey Lewis, who might have 10 here. Yes, she does.
That is as powerful as a swing as we've seen all day from her, and look at her staying so calm, cool, and collected. What a swing. Watch her get up and put it down quickly. More of that when we return.
I was going to say weekend in total for Corey Lewis, who's really fueling them on.
Coming into her own would be the incorrect statement because she's been so dominant throughout her college career, but man, is she good. You cannot defend her and you cannot outswing her. She's got a big block.
And now in double figures in terms of kills. Second straight match here in Tallahassee that she's done that. And a tremendous showing against Pitt just a couple of days ago, and tacking on some more really nice numbers as well. Speaking of really nice, how about the pancake by True Blood? Snyder off speed, and that'll find the floor. All-out effort by Virginia, scrambling to get to that volleyball, and it looks like somebody is hurt.
Looks like Brooklyn Borum is actually in tears here. They have been an all-out effort, all match, diving all over the court, phenomenal effort. And this is the last thing you want to see for any coach, especially Shannon Wells, who depends so much on Brooklyn Borum in all 6 rotations.
So both teams are in respective huddles as they tend to Borum right in front of the UVA bench. Back to Tallahassee, where we are underway once again, and FSU's block is firing away again. This time, Corey Lewis responsible.
Only missed the first part of that serve, the bump, set, spike, and block. Corey Lewis said no thanks.
Lewis rejecting her fellow Tallahassee native, Varicia Jan. Back row, Koenig. Nice pass, and that's a good result for Chloe Wilson. Tip the cap to Milan Gamillion, digging up that back row attack.
Koenig actually a little bit early on that. I think if she had timed it just a little bit better, would have put more pace on it, but Gamillion's been fantastic digging all game.
24 digs, in fact, to this point for Gamillion. Quick to the middle, Lewis off the block. And Virginia pancaked that up. Droskovic tried to take it over on 2. Trueblood dug it up, and there to clean it up. Guess who at the net? Number 8 in black.
See Droskovic's smile there. She's such a competitor, frustrated that her dump didn't work, but thankful that Corey Lewis stopped the play when she did.
That'll send Audrey Rothman back to serve. Florida State leading by 8. Tatter off the block. Rothman keeps it up. Back bump by Filamaua to Koenig. Wilson off the block. Nice pass there by Rothman. Snyder.
Three gets called in the net for Virginia, but it doesn't matter because Maddie Snyder put that ball right through the seam, painted down the back corner.
Yeah, on 3 counts, that was point Florida State. On Tatter being in the net, on the ball finding the court, and on the touch as well, had it not. Here's Tatter going back to work, and that is out. Point Seminoles.
An awfully close swing by Tatter there. My goodness, very close. A slight adjustment, and that ball is in.
Timeout on the floor. FSU's lead has swollen to 10.
Sean, we talk about the competitiveness of this conference, and today is another big day.
It certainly is for Florida State, who has jumped into the co-lead with Louisville. Georgia Tech and Pittsburgh has a chance to race out to 12-2. Pitt on the road, taking on Miami. Louisville at Clemson. Georgia Tech also trying to round out their weekend at 12-2. They've got, I believe, Notre Dame today, do they not?
Yes, they do. And the Pitt-Miami game is one to really watch out for because Miami's a team with a lot of talent, really fighting to get their way into that NCAA tournament. And Pittsburgh might be off momentum a little bit, losing in 5 sets here on Friday night. I'm sure Dan Fisher has them locked in, ready to go, but that match has got to be close. Let's tune into it here. Let me check the scores.
And while you do that, I'll agree with you on Miami Pitt. Miami's a team that, when they are at full song, they can beat darn near anybody. And they've also had some losses that make you go, ooh. You know, there was the weekend where Florida State nearly beat Georgia Tech in 5 sets. Miami lost to Clemson that same day, but then turned around and swept Georgia Tech a couple days later.
Miami right now in the 4th set with Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh took the first 2. Miami took the 3rd, and here they are in the middle of the 4th, just like we are, Sean.
In 1 week's time, the Canes will be coming right back here to Tallahassee. Florida State beating Miami down in Coral Gables in 5 sets a handful of weeks ago, right? Really the start of conference play. And that was how Florida State got things started with a string of 5 setters, their most recent of which coming against Pitt just a couple days ago. Virginia's trying to make this more interesting and force yet another 5-setter, but that ball out of play off the hand of Tatter, and Florida State is speeding closer toward a 3-1 victory here. Plenty of volleyball left, but it's looking pretty good at this point for the Noles.
That win in Miami, Sean, was really the moment when Florida State realized that they are a team that can really get it done in this conference. It was there. They went on this string of 5-setters, but they won nearly all of them. So they've done a really fantastic job of coming together as the season's gone on.
And they did that, no less, without Corey Lewis, who was out for a match with an injury. They started Layla Njai, and credit to Njai, who hasn't played a lot. She had 6 blocks. Out to the left pin. Hello, Audrey Koenig.
Audrey Koenig, fantastic today. And how about what she did at Miami, Sean? Career day in digs and kills she had. She is just fantastic. Up and over into the middle of the court. Nobody can defend or block that one.
And I would submit this to you, Alexandra, about Koenig. We're getting to the point where you glance down to the stat sheet and you realize, oh yeah, Koenig has another double-double. She's making it seem easy and routine, and I think that's got to be the ultimate compliment for a player of her acumen.
Absolutely. She is so calm, confident, and humble. You know, she doesn't even really look at those numbers, right? She's locked in for her team, fights every single game. She's going to be the key to them going far in the postseason.
FSU certainly looks like they are building a ton of momentum at right about the right time. They lead set 4 by 12, make it 13. Maddie Snyder has really stepped up this year as a freshman and acquitted herself well at the D1 ranks.
Snyder plays with a lot of confidence as well as a freshman. She's not afraid to put swings on the ball. She knows when she needs to tip, and for the most part, she does a good job reading as a blocker. So she's been fantastic. That's why she's gotten a lot of playing time as a freshman.
And on the flip side, hard to be anything but impressed with Abby Tatter, who a season ago set her career high 18 kills against the Noles in Charlottesville. That was number 14 in the match here. Virginia needs a run. Florida State looking for 5 more points. And there's one. Kiari Roby, who's quietly had a really nice day. On the block, she's been very dynamic, 8 of those, and that's 6 kills to go along with them.
Another player being quietly dynamic is Ella Gayona in the passing game. You know, we talk about those first touches that are sometimes difficult for Florida State. Gayona's another freshman. She's done a really nice job of acclimating to the program, and she's very confident on her serve receive. Nice, calm passing.
And there's an ace serve for Kenna Phelan. Going back to Gayona, though, she's a player who came in, as a lot of these passers, the libero at her high school, and for a time after Emery Dupes went down, she was slipping on that different colored jersey for Florida State in a handful of matches and really getting thrown into the fire, and she looks so much more comfortable now, having gone through all of that, and there is nothing comfortable for Virginia about Kenna Phelan serving right now.
Kenna Phelan, I love it. You have a massive lead, so why not take a risk? Let's try the jump topspin serve. Wow, puts it right where the passer's not. It's fantastic serve from her. Let's see her do it again.
That is something that is in her arsenal that Florida State wanted to wait a while until she unleashed, and my goodness, it looks good. Jump set, Koenig, cross court, count it.
All the momentum. Follow it up with a fantastic set to your best hitter to do her favorite swing, the cut shot.
And what a response for Florida State, who stands at match point. Set 3 got away from them, and how have they responded? By hammering Virginia even more than the Cavaliers got them in the third. Phelan to serve it in once more. Jump top spin to perfection, and the Seminoles remain in the lead in the ACC.